You may have heard it said that greyhounds sleep a lot and shook your head in disbelief. How could the world's fastest dog also be the world's sleepiest dog? So do greyhounds sleep a lot? Yes. It's not at all unusual for a greyhound to be in some stage of sleep 20 to 22 hours a day, especially if he's elderly. Many greyhounds get up only to eat and go for a walk. With a comparatively active greyhound, this routine might be broken up to chew on a toy for a few minutes, greet a visitor, romp briefly in the yard, or visit you while you cook. You may worry about whether so much sleep is bad for your pet's health. This video will let you know what you can expect and when to be concerned or monitor him for an illness. If you're considering getting a greyhound, let's talk about whether such a sleepy pet would be a good fit for your household. The answer may surprise you. I'll also provide an in-depth look at the science behind why greyhounds sleep so much. Why greyhounds sleep so much? The folks over at the Sunset Veterinary Clinic have some great insight as to why the greyhound in particular would be so incredibly sleepy. They claim that dogs who are bred for a very active purpose will sleep as intensely as they work. This makes so much sense when you think about it. The greyhound's bred for incredible speeds, so it's logical that he would also take incredible naps. It's the perfect demonstration of Newton's third law of motion. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. The Sunset Vets also point out the typical pattern of change in daily sleep needs over the course of a dog's lifetime, which is the same for greyhounds as it is for any dog. In other words, puppies need the most sleep, less for adult dogs, and then when they grow old, almost as much as a puppy. Finally, they state that large dogs simply need more sleep than smaller ones. Would you believe there's no article out there that explains why exactly dogs even need sleep? Using my knowledge of greyhounds, I put forth this explanation with the help of the Sleep Foundation. It's obvious that a dog needs sleep to function. Every process would be severely impaired without it. This includes his immune system. Any healthy senior citizen will tell you that the secret to long life is to get plenty of sleep, which explains why greyhounds tend to outlive large dogs of other breeds. Greyhounds and melatonin. Believe it or not, melatonin is highly beneficial to your greyhound. This brain hormone, which we usually think of as a sleep aid, can boost your hound's immune system, help bald spots fill in, regulate sleep cycles for elderly sundowner hounds. Sundowner hounds are those who wake up at night and fret, kind of get night and day mixed up, and even give dogs with cancer a longer life. Greyhounds make their own melatonin while they sleep. According to Dressler, DVM, a leading dog cancer specialist, you can help your hound form more melatonin on his own. Dr. Dressler says to make your room as dark as possible so that your dog's brain has a real shot at generating melatonin. And he offers the following suggestions. Use blackout shades on your windows. Make sure all sources of blue light from TV screens, computers, tablets, and phones are removed. Stop using night lights. Avoid charging your devices where your dog sleeps, because electrical fields can interfere with melatonin production. Consider unplugging lamps and other devices at night. Alternatively, you can give your greyhound melatonin supplements. As far as dosage goes, a survey of the Grey Talk forum reveals that 3 milligrams once or twice a day works very well for greyhounds. The higher dosage was noted as being especially good for anticipated bouts of anxiety, such as those brought on by fireworks. The Greyhound's Sleepy Day. What to expect. Most of the time, we've always had to get our greyhounds up for their first turnout of the day. Lily goes for a quick walk, does her doggy business, has a little breakfast, and sleeps until lunch. Before lunch, she takes a quick trip to the curb and then sleeps until late afternoon when I take her for a good long walk. Now this is her most prolonged activity period of the day. Out in the neighborhood, Lily greets her friends and checks out everything she sees. Her eyes are full of questions, and she sniffs like a bloodhound. She coos and paws frantically at one particular friend who's always armed with cookies and encourages this shameless display of hers. Back at home, she might sprint around a little or play with a toy before dinner. Later on, I run her out again before feeding her. Another nap. After one more quick walk, a drink of water, and a cookie, Lily puts herself to bed for the night. Altogether, she probably has not been up for more than 3 hours. The pros and cons of a lazy greyhound. The lazy greyhound is my idea of the perfect dog. Now, my son always claimed to be disappointed that we didn't have a dog who's always up to all kinds of hijinks all the time. I've noticed, however, that my son gets pretty tired of other people's active dogs after he's with them for a prolonged amount of time. Dogs, like people, come in different personality types, and each of us has his preferences. Please, never adopt a Greyhound just to rescue him. If you're used to having a busy, active dog, ask yourself if you'd really be happy adding a creature to your home who's likely to be asleep most of the time. If that's not your preference, that's okay. There's many active dogs out there waiting for an attentive owner like you who will enjoy their antics. When to intervene in your Greyhound's sleep. If your Greyhound has unexplained changes in his sleeping habits, check in with your vet. Be sure your Greyhound's schedule starts with getting out early in the morning at a regular time. On days when I wish to sleep in, I set my alarm for 6:45 a.m. and get Lily out for a comfort stop. Then we both enjoy a hot cup of tea and a nap. Well, Lily's tea is really just warm water with a little bacon fat in it. During the day, get your Greyhound up for scheduled potty breaks, as opposed to waiting until he lets you know. They don't always, and can laze themselves right into a UTI from holding their urine for too long. If you find your Greyhound's not moving at all between outings, encourage him to get up every few hours, except for overnight, of course. Again, this is to prevent UTIs. Even just getting up to come to you for a cookie or to lick a plate is enough extra movement to keep urine from stagnating in his bladder. An odd dog sleep behavior. My Lily has this odd sleep behavior that crops up once in a while. What happens is she'll be fast asleep, and then suddenly she'll leap to her feet and skitter away. Sometimes she'll run around the house briefly, or she'll run to my husband. Then she'll lower her head and whine piteously. Well, I just ran across this article by JoAnna Pendergrass, DVM, about sleep disorders in dogs. In this article, her description of something called REM behavior disorder reminds me very much of Lily's disturbing sleep behavior. Luckily, Dr. Pendergrass also includes enough information about this phenomenon for me to rest assured that Lily, though quirky, is just fine. If, like Lily, your Greyhound has these episodes once in a while, you don't need to be concerned. If it's a new behavior, however, you do want to let your vet know. You should also enlist your vet's help if there's any accompanying behavior to this that could endanger your dog or family members, such as crashing into things, crashing into walls, or snapping at people. The vet can help your pup out with some medicine to lessen the intensity of his REM sleep behaviors. Well, one thing I learned from creating this video is that I sure could use a lot more sleep. If you feel the same way, or you want to follow up on some of the stuff that you've heard here today, have a look at some of the articles and videos I checked out while I was doing research for this video. It's all linked below in the description. Here's my article on bald spots on Greyhounds. You probably remember the video that I did recently on that. If not, check it out. Here's more from the Sunset Vets about why dogs sleep so much. JoAnna Pendergrass, DVM, on REM sleep disorder and other sleep disorders in dogs. And perhaps you'd like to read about why we need sleep too. Here's some inside baseball on melatonin. Dr. Dressler's advice on melatonin, canine cancer, and more. Say, if you're looking for a great gift for Mother's Day or Father's Day, or any occasion really, what could be better than one of these unique coffee mugs I've designed personally from the Greyhound Home Care store, linked below. See you next time on the Greyhound Home Care channel.